Welcome to Vivekanand Education Society's College of Pharmacy. We are dedicated to providing a research-focused, academically oriented education in the field of pharmacy. Vivekanand Education Society was established in 1962. There are 27 institutes, including 12 schools and 7 professional colleges under VES. We are proud to serve over 20,000 students across our diverse educational offerings. VESCOP was established in 2007 and is recognized under the UGC Act of 1956 as an autonomous institution approved by PCI and accredited by NAC with an A+ grade until 2029. We offer 6 programs including B.Pharm, M.Pharm and PhD in pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry and quality assurance. Since its inception in 2007 with a B.Pharm intake of 60, VESCOP has grown significantly. By 2011, we introduced M.Pharm programs and in 2014, we began our PhD programs. Our institution has achieved several milestones including NBA accreditation and various awards for research and innovation. Our team comprises dedicated professionals, which includes our principal, Dr. Mrs. Supriya Shide, and numerous esteemed faculty members who guide our M.Pharm and PhD students. VESCOP has consistently excelled in research conventions such as Avishkar and Anveshan, earning multiple medals and overall championship trophies. Our institution continues to foster a strong research culture. We have established significant collaborations, including a joint research center with Procter & Gamble, and continue to support research development, training, and skill development through various MOUs. We have state-of-the-art facilities for performing research in the areas of analytical development, which includes HPLC, UPLC, diffusion assembly, UV, IR, particle size analyzer, freeze dryer, and other important analytical instruments. Thank you for your attention. For more information, you can visit our website and follow us on our social media platforms.
Welcome to all the participants. Today is the day 2 of Research Connect series webinar focusing on research, career opportunities and avenues in the pharmaceutical field. Yesterday, Dr. Prashant Karkar sir provided an insightful overview of various skill sets required to be a proficient professional in pharmaceutical chemistry. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Yogita Kodgule Madam with us for what promises to be an equally informative and engaging session. Dr. Yogita Kodgule Madam will be delivering a presentation on unveiling pathways for research and career in analytical, quality assurance, and regulatory affairs. Let me introduce you to Dr. Yogita Kodgule Madam. Yogita Kodgule Madam has over 20 years of extensive experience in analytical development, regulatory compliance, and drug regulatory affairs within the pharmaceutical industry. Her career began with roles at Sun Pharmaceuticals and Ranbaxy Laboratories, followed by a significant tenure at Wockhardt Limited, where she rose to leadership positions including group leader in analytical development and head of R&D compliance. Since January 2017, she has been the chief analytical and regulatory officer at IQGenX Pharma Private Limited, where she oversees technical, analytical, regulatory, and quality aspects. Her key professional experience include at present, Madam is the Chief Analytical and Regulatory Officer, IQGenX Pharma Private Limited, wherein she is involved in roles like leading technical, analytical, quality, regulatory, and HR teams. From June 2015 to June 2017, Madam was the General Manager, Drug Regulatory Affairs, Wockhardt Limited, wherein she played key roles like established and led a deficiency management group coordinating with various stakeholders to expedite ANDA approvals. From September 2013 to May 2015, Madam was Assistant Director and Head R&D Compliance, Wockhardt Limited, involved in centralized R&D processes and established stage gate review mechanisms. From September 2007 to November 2013, Madam was a senior group leader, Drug Regulatory Affairs and Scientific Information, Wockhardt Limited, and has managed regulatory compliance and interacted with FDA and MHRA inspectors. From September 2005 to August 2007, Madam was Group Leader, Analytical Development, Wockhardt Limited, and has developed analytical methods for all dosage forms. From 1999 to 2005, Madam has worked in analytical development roles at Ranbaxy Laboratories and Sun Pharmaceuticals and was involved in development and validation analytical methods for regulatory markets. Madam holds a PhD degree in pharmaceutical technology from SNDT Women's University. She has completed her Master's of Pharmaceutical Science from SNDT Women's University and Bachelor's of Pharmacy from University of Pune. Madam has notable achievements which are Madam led various groups and initiatives that streamlined R&D and regulatory processes. Madam has successfully managed and responded to numerous ANDA deficiencies, facilitating faster product approvals. She has received multiple fellowships and awards, including Junior Research Fellowship by AICTE and Senior Research Fellowship by Ministry of Human Resource Development. Madam has presented research at national conferences, including the 50th IPC in Bombay. Dr. Yogita Kodgule Madam's vast experience and significant contributions to the pharmaceutical industry, particularly in analytical development and regulatory affairs, is truly inspirational and commendable. And we are indeed privileged to have her as the speaker for today. I now request Dr. Yogita Madam to take over the platform and enlighten us on unveiling pathways for research and career in the fields of analytical development, quality assurance, and regulatory affairs.
Thank you, VS. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we are able to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, VS, for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students, which is very rare in case when we are working in the industry. But it's really my pleasure to interact with you. And definitely, I will try to give you some insight on analytical development and regulatory affairs area. Although it may not be something new, but probably it will help you to decide your career path when you are passing out B.Pharm or M.Pharm. So shall I start? Screen
Yes,
sharing?
ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So although the topic is unwilling, that is not something new. Probably you might find something new in this. So let me start with this. So unveiling pathways for research and career in analytical and regulatory affairs.
Ma'am, can you start sharing the screen?
I have already started actually.
Actually, ma'am, it is not visible.
Just hold on.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you can click on share screen from the.
Yeah. I was doing that only.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see?
No, ma'am.
Just hold on. Can you see?
Yes. Ma'am, you can click on
I'm seeing
slideshow.
the slides. Now it's okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the topic today given by me by Anita ma'am is unveiling pathways for research and career in analytical and regulatory affairs. Although it's not something different what you are learning from for during the B Farm or M Farm, I'm just trying to refresh certain things which will help you probably in deciding your career path. So let's start. Research in pharmaceutical industry and role of analytical development and regulatory affairs in pharmaceutical industry. What is research? Basically, research is a pursuit of new knowledge through the process of discovery. It is also sometimes whatever is existing, we try to find out something new from existing knowledge also. In scientific research involves diligent inquiry and systematic observation of the phenomena which we are undergoing. Then just hold on. Most scientific research projects involve experimentation, often requiring testing the effect of changing conditions on the results. So now how this research is in pharmaceutical industry, or what is the pharmaceutical research and development? That is not something different what you're learning in B Farm or M Farm, probably majority in M Farm. The pharma R&D process is simply the series of activity targeted to reach the goal of discovering and delivering new medical drugs, devices, or therapies to the market. It also, so during this stage, it involves the preclinical research and discovery of innovative drugs. During this process, it leads to innovation of new processes or services or improvements in the existing processes. So there are basically, if I can divide the pharma research, it is into three categories like basic drug research, generic drug development, and 505B or hybrid application. Basic drug research, as you all aware, it's development of new molecules and moiety through various steps. It involves generic drug development. As you know, it is not the development of new molecule, but it is improvement in the existing molecule for better therapeutic effect or improving the stability of the molecule or improvement the bioavailability. So basic drug research involves following, or when we say the new drug is successful, it undergoes 5 specific stages like discovery and development, preclinical research, clinical research, and then FDA monitoring, FDA review and safety or monitoring after marketing. So what are the stages of new drug development? There are, as I discussed in previous slides, what is discovery? Discovery is the identification, target identification, so that what mechanism is involved in treating the disease. If we want to treat the existing disease, or new molecule has to be screened for that, or a new disease has come and we need to invent or have a new molecule to be screened. So screening of new molecules for required mechanism of actions. New molecules can be from existing set of molecules or a modification of the molecules through structures of those molecules. Then characterizing those molecules for defined mechanism of action. Now, those defined and characterization of those molecule involve the size and shape, strength, or what are the weakness of that molecule. Then preferred conditions or environment for maintaining the function or means where that molecule will be stable or in which environment it can be useful. So studying that characteristics of that particular molecule, and studying also the toxicity and bioavailability. During this initial characterization of molecule, we have to develop analytical methods for characterizations, which you might, since I was going through your presentations, you have many analytical techniques available at your college. So to characterize, it will be very easy for a new molecule. Now, once the molecule is finalized, ultimately it has to be used for human consumption. You cannot take a raw molecule or cannot consume a raw molecule. So it undergoes a formulation development phase. And we will devise a formulation which will ensure the proper drug delivery parameters so that it will be very much effective at the site of action. The molecule also has to be stable. Probably sometimes the molecule in its own state is not stable, but once we convert it into formulation, it becomes more stable and it is easy to make it available for human consumption. And this stability of molecules or development of formulation to get the stable formulation will also will be the phase till the even after the final approval. Then, so this formulation or this molecule which has been newly developed has to undergo the toxicological studies. And these are called basically the preclinical toxicological studies. These include acute studies, repeated dose studies, genetic toxicity study, carcinogenicity study, and reproductive toxicity study. For these studies, usually bioanalytical methods are developed and to support this preclinical, and after preclinical, there will be a clinical studies phase for both the bioanalytical methods are developed. So analytical development is critical area in basic research also. By using those methods, it analyzes the bioavailability, safety, and efficacy of formulated drug product. Studies designed during preclinical stage must support the clinical study that are going to follow. So, what is the role of regulatory affairs in basic research? You people might have the question. Yes, definitely this is investigational. This new molecule is always called as investigational new drug, which is under investigation. So during that phase also you have to submit the data to regulatory agency to get approval to carry out the clinical phase or clinical studies. So regulatory, and to communicate with the regulatory affairs, again the regulatory authority the in-house regulatory affairs department is required for any research R&D center. What are the clinical trial phases? That is phase 1. It is usually studying the human pharmacology. That is, it is done only on limited volunteers, healthy volunteers, to evaluate the pharmacokinetics, that is PKPD, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of the molecule. Since it is new, you don't know how it will behave in human body. So to first understand the behavior, it will be done on the healthy volunteers. In phase 2, it is done on the patient, and here it is actually its therapeutic exploration, whether it is efficacious or safety when it is used in patient. And the duration of this phase 2 is 6 to 8 months. Then is the phase 3. This is also a therapeutic exploratory, but it is carried out on more volunteers. It is more than 1,000 to 3,000 volunteers are involved. That is also on the patients, and it is to evaluate the efficacy and safety and any special properties like any adverse reactions are generating on the patients, and to study that. This duration is longer. It is 2 to 5 years. Then is the phase 4, which is sometimes the ongoing or sometimes it is even after approval. The thousands of patients are studied for the molecule, and usually the long-term efficacy or safety of the molecule is studied. And there is no time limit. Sometimes the study might be extended to geriatrics, study might be extended to pediatrics, even after approval of the molecule, by reducing the dose, so that initially it is done on the healthy volunteers and on the adults, so that whether the reducing the dose, it will be effective for pediatrics or geriatrics, and with a less side effects, or if any new side effects are seen. So this phase is a very long, and there has no limit. You can submit the data based on the studies you have conducted to regulatory agencies, and you can update your dossier accordingly. Currently, if you look at the new chemical entities or new molecules overall across the globe, US is the most leading in all the world, then followed by Europe, then Japan, and India comes in others. China was also in others till 2017, and now it has moved to into a different. They are almost coming up with the new molecules. What is generic drug development? It is performed on the established molecule. The molecule is already established. It is either available as a tablet or capsules. No clinical studies are required for this. Bioequivalence with the innovator product as per the product specific guidance. Then prototype formulation development is done by using different excipients, or by using sometimes tablets are converted into capsules, or sometimes there could be modification of the formulation than innovator. Analytical method development also is the process involved for screening the prototype development, and sometimes existing analytical methods by pharmacopoeia available, which can also be screened, or we usually call it as the verification of methods. Bioanalytical methods are also developed and validated for testing the bioequivalence samples. Once this formulation is completed and it is transferred to the manufacturing location, exhibit batches are taken, and now the role of drug regulatory affairs comes, where they will compile all the information relating to the dossiers, and that will be submitted to the regulatory agency as an abbreviated new drug application, or ANDA. This is usually the flow of pharmaceutical industry. That is formulation research and development, analytical research and development. Through technology transfer, the product is transferred to manufacturing location. Quality assurance and quality control play a major role in defining the quality of the product. They have to scrutinize whatever the processes has been defined by the R&D, and they should see whether those processes can be directly applicable to the higher scale. Quality control department evaluates the analytical methods which has been developed by pharma R&D. Once everything is established, the exhibit batches or whatever the batches have been taken at larger scale, the drug regulatory affair comes into picture for filing either the new molecule or the ANDA. Through drug regulatory affairs, you will get the marketing approval, and the product, once the marketing approval is there, the product will be commercialized. During all this process, project management is involved for timely achieving the goals of the launching the product in the market. So what is a good career for you? Once you decide whether you want to go into formulation development or regulatory affairs or analytical development, usually what happens is you like something during B.Pharm. You love to do that during this, but sometimes it may not be practically possible for you to do those things when you go to masters or once you start your industry job. Because what is the best career or the most ideal career? What you love to do, or what is your talent that can be exhibited and that also generates revenue for the industry. But is it possible every time? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But then how I should develop my skills? So refining my knowledge, and that's why M.Pharm is necessary. So what happens is, during bachelor's or B.Pharm, we only get the introduction of pharmacy and theoretical knowledge of drugs or dosage forms and some practical experiences that you do during your practicals. But during M.Pharm, you get more ideas regarding research, literature search. You plan your own experiments, plan your projects, execute those projects or execute the research activities independently. So M.Pharm makes it easier to refine the thought process and provides the clarity in identifying the areas of interest and accordingly the right job with the right mindset. So if you look at, these are the M.Pharm subjects. Usually you do pharmaceutics, pharmacology, medicinal chemistry, pharmacovigilance, regulatory affairs, pharmaceutical analysis. But does my M.Pharm knowledge is sufficient to work in formulation development, analytical development, regulatory affairs, quality assurance? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the no, because you don't get into the details of what is required by the industry. So what is analytical research and development in pharma industry? What it does actually? The first and initial step is the development of analytical methods. And development of analytical methods involves the literature search, screening of methods through different pharmacopoeias, screening of different journals to understand the behavior of molecule. It also involves the post-degradation study to understand the degradation pathway of that molecule. And so this is the first step of method development. Once you develop a method, you have to validate that method or verify that method for its intended use. The intended use is nothing but your method should be workable at quality control when you are transferring those methods to the manufacturing locations, whatever the methods you are developing at R&D. Whatever methods you have developed, they should be stability indicating. Then whenever you are carrying out the stability testing at R&D, those methods should able to I will answer your queries afterwards. then those methods should be usable during the stability testing also. Then documentation. The documentation in analytical is the most important aspect of any analytical method, because documenting exactly what you have written or what you have carried out as an experiment is most important. That is because that is the first knowledge or the first incidence or the first precedence you have generated at lab for that method. So documenting it correctly is the most important. Then whatever documentation you have done, then managing the data, because at R&D you develop so many prototype batches, you develop so much analytical data, and from that data you have to take the correct batch, correct data and correct methods. So data management and review of that data is also important aspect during the analytical research and development. Interpreting the data correctly, understanding whether it is a formulation problem or whether it is an analytical problem is very important at this point of stage. What are the skills or job requirements for analytical scientist? It should have a minimum bachelor's degree and it should be a science degree. Then experience working in laboratory environment, running the tests or experiments. See, that doesn't mean that fresh bee farms will not be taken into analytical development, or because you will not be having the experience in laboratory environment. So what usually all industries do, they take bee farms as a trainee, even fresh M farms as a trainee. They train them for 1 year or 2 years, and then they take them into the actual development. Then strong attention to detail. Usually during interviews and during even during the interactions with the students, I have seen that students are not keen on the details, whatever they have done during their projects or whatever they have done during their internships or whatever they have understood from the internships. They just remember the superficial activities, what they have done. They don't remember what are the details of that activity, and which is very must for any research activity. You should always have an analytical mindset with a strong understanding of statistical calculations. Sometimes when you are MPharm PhD, whenever it is chosen, it is required to have a peer-reviewed publications, because that has the advantages. Excellent verbal and written communication to present your things is very important. This is probably lacking in majority of students when we interview them. They know the things, but they are not able to keep it in proper sequence or proper language which can be understood by even by the layman. And you should have advanced knowledge about chemistry, anatomy, physiology. You should be a good team player and able to collaborate. There should be critical thinking and troubleshooting abilities. See, nowadays people are recognized who can give me the more solutions to a problem rather than just doing the day-to-day job. Then great time management skills. Say, analytical is a very laborious type of job in pharma industry, and it requires more time management than any other profile, like even in more than sometimes formulation development, because you have to do so many things. For one prototype development, you have to do 3 analysis, minimum 3 analysis, assay, RS and dissolution. So it's your time management, because data is, industry requires data as yesterday, like how fast you can give the data, because all the development and the timelines are dependent on your data. So this is regarding the analytical. Now I'll just talk about the regulatory affairs. Okay, what is the role of regulatory affairs? Basically, it is a connection or it is a bridge between the pharmaceutical industry and all regulatory affairs. So it is an exit gate for any data or dossier from the industry, but it is an entry gate for any regulatory authorities. Similarly, any queries or any questions from regulatory authorities will be routed through regulatory affairs to the pharma industry or any means R&D or formulation or manufacturing. So different areas of regulatory affairs include preparation of drug master file, preparation of dossiers like CTD or eCTD, then query response to regulatory authorities, communications between pharma industry and regulatory bodies throughout the life cycle of the product. How it functions, how drug regulatory affairs functions. It is the process of submitting regulatory applications to obtain marketing authorization for drugs and medical devices. It also includes the preparation of regulatory documents and compliance with regulatory guidances. They are also responsible for ensuring the drugs or medical devices are safe and effective and are of high quality. It involves in the registration of the product in different countries prior to their marketing across the globe. It helps ensure the drugs and medical devices are safe and effective for their intended use, and they meet the requirements of quality and purity. If there is no regulatory affair departments, it is possible you might land up marketing unsafe drug and potentially putting patients at risk. So it is a very important department in any pharmaceutical industry. And it also is involved. The regulatory affairs, sometimes people think it is involved at the end of the product development. No, it starts from the product development, because if you know, you have to develop your product by using QBD approach. And QBD approach is what? It's nothing but quality by design. So you are defining your target product profiles. And how you define your target product profiles? So what are the current regulatory requirements for that product? So it involves right from the development. And these regulatory agencies even work with the regulatory agency even after post-marketing of the drug, because sometimes the adverse events are addressed through regulatory agencies, regulatory professionals. So what are the roles and responsibilities of regulatory affairs? They should ensure the product comply with the regulations of the regions where want to distribute them, keep up to date with the national and international legislation, guidelines, and customer practices, collect and evaluate the scientific data from different departments for submission purpose, develop and write clear explanation for new product licenses and license renewals, prepare submissions of license variations and renewals to strict deadlines to restrict or in expediting the reviews, work with the specialist of computer software, because eCTD is prepared by using the software, and then it is required to interact with the computer software person, and so those skills are also required. Then write a clear, accessible product labels and patient information leaflets. This is more in case of European agencies and US agencies, because all the labels and patient information leaflets are approved by the regulatory agencies in these countries. Then advise scientists for development of the product as per the QBD concept, and manufacturers on regulatory requirements. Sometimes you have to provide the strategic advice to senior management throughout the development of a new product, interpret all data, undertake and manage regulatory inspections, then liaise with or make presentations to regulatory authorities. Sometimes you have to work with regulatory authorities to sometimes, suppose it's a new molecule, you have to continuously interact with the regulatory agencies for submission of data to understand what are their requirements, how the data shall be presented. So you have to liaise with them, negotiate with regulatory authorities for marketing authorizations, take part in the development of marketing concepts and approve packaging and advertising before product release. The common regulatory authorities are United States Food and Drug Administration, Australia, means across the globe I'm discussing. TGA for Australia, India has CDSCO, Medicines and Healthcare Product Regulatory Agency, MHRA for UK. Then Japan has Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Agency. Europe has European Medicinal Agency, and in Canada it is Health Canada. What are the skills required as a drug regulatory affairs or even as a common scientist when you approach to pharma industry after B Pharm or M Pharm? What do you need to know or where do you learn? You should learn online sources. There are so many sites available for these regulatory agents. For these, like you have a USFDA site, you have EMEA site, you have so many sites available. Then there are different educational institutes, social networking, and advancement trips. Then continuous learning. Stay updated on advancements in the analytical techniques as well as regulatory requirements, because on daily basis there are some changes happening and you have to be updated in both, like in analytical techniques as well as in regulatory affairs. There are more changes happening in the requirements of regulation or on day-to-day basis, and you have to be more updated. Sorry. Networking, build relationships within the industry through professional organizations and conferences. Seek mentors who can offer guidance and advice. Then be proactive in seeking new responsibilities when you enter into the industry and more projects that broaden your expertises. Adapt to change in regulated landscapes and technology advancements. So these are the common skills which you require once you pass out from the B Pharm and M Pharm. Anything else, or I'm done? Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak, and we can discuss now about the details, because everything I cannot put on slides. You can ask me questions.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll just give a short summary of the session. So today's session provided a comprehensive overview of the critical roles that analytical development and regulatory affairs play in pharmaceutical research and development. We learned about the stages of new drug development, including discovery, preclinical research, clinical trials, and FDA review. The presentation also highlighted various career opportunities in pharmaceutical research, regulatory affairs, and quality assurance, emphasizing the importance of advanced degrees like M Pharm for career growth. We also gained insights into the responsibilities of regulatory affairs professionals and the essential skills needed for success in these roles. Overall, the session offered valuable information on the pathways available for research and careers in these key areas of pharmaceutical industry. Now we will take up the question and answer session. So there are some questions in the chat box. Our HOD Mushtaq sir has put up this question. What should one student must check for an institute before choosing it for pursuing MPharm in QA?
Basically, I don't see there are different syllabus available for MPharm in QA. Institute doesn't matter once you choose your MPharm as a career. So what you have to see is what is QA, why QA is so important in overall aspect or in overall presentation. So if I will just go to my slide. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you see this? Yeah. So basically, once the development is complete, whatever is technology is transferred or to a manufacturing location, it is through a department of quality assurance. So whatever the all documents are generated by R&D are routed through quality assurance to manufacturing locations of production. So the common documents include like specification, STP, batch manufacturing record, batch packaging records, and so on. So QA has a significant role. So while defining the institute, I will not say it is dependent on the institute. It is more on a individual who need to understand the requirement of QA as a career.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question. The instruments and systems at industry would be always advanced, automated compared to academic organization. Does it pose a problem to cope up after joining? How students can fill this gap?
Yes, there are ways and means of doing it. Basically during BPharm, when you are from third year to when you are moving from third year to final year, you get a holiday of 1 month. You can go to the industry and try to understand what is happening in the industry as an internship. Don't try to do anything, but try to learn certain things from there. During MPharm, also they have 2 months project, or they can take industry projects during their MPharm, which will really help them to understand how industry functions, because usually many industries give MPharm projects nowadays, because even industry is have a scarcity of good students, getting good students passing after MPharm. So definitely they will involve their time during their project, and during their project they will be trained for the activities, and definitely it will help them in pursuing their career. But choosing the MPharm project is very critical, I feel, because I have seen the projects which are more academic oriented and when you want to go into industry.
Okay.
So choosing a project, when you are in quality assurance, you should have a project which will give complete insight about the quality assurance, rather than having the analytical project.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There is one more question from a participant, Asha Tole, ma'am. Astha Tole, ma'am. Are the certificate courses important before entering the regulatory affairs field?
Not necessarily. See, regulatory affairs is such a department. If you directly go into drug regulatory affairs and once you start compiling the dossier, you will not understand anything. So in my opinion, those who want to make a drug regulatory affairs as a career, they should first get hands-on experience in analytical or formulation development or production or quality control, anything for 2 years or 3 years of experience, and then they should go to regulatory affairs. Then they will understand the whole process. Then they will understand how the product is developed. Then they will understand how the methods are developed. Because otherwise, it is very difficult. Sometimes the fresh person entering into drug regulatory affairs will understand the complete scenario of the molecule.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There is one more question. What is the role of regulatory affairs in bioequivalence studies? How to check whether bioequivalence studies are required for the generics?
See, there are complete guidances given by the US FDA if you are filing a product in US FDA, means for US market. If you are filing for Europe, you have to write to European agencies about what are the bioequivalence studies. There is a protocol you have to define before conducting the bioequivalence study, and that protocol has to be approved by, if you are working in India, then those Indian regulatories also have to approve that protocol if you are conducting the bioequivalence study. And once you have conducted the bioequivalence study, basically all the guidances for bioequivalence study are defined by the regulators. What is the acceptance criteria, whether your product is bioequivalent or not, whether if it is not, then what are the studies you should conduct, whether it's a crossover study or reference listed drug study or reference product study. So all those are defined by the regulatory agencies. So regulators has a key role to play in bioequivalence study. All the protocols are routed through regulatory affairs department.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now I would request Dr. Rajashri Hilekar, Madam, Professor and Head of Department of Pharmaceutics, to propose the vote of thanks.
Hello, madam. It was a nice interaction with you. Good content of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is one more question I could see, so we can take up that question. What is the role of technology transfer in research and development? If we can take that question, madam.
Definitely. See, there is no role of technology transfer. Technology transfer is the media, or it is the medium through which the technology which is developed at R&D is transferred. Like whatever you are doing, the scales you are doing at R&D are 10,000 tablets or 5,000 tablets or at the most 20,000 tablets, and you have to transfer the technology or transfer the process parameters or transfer the analytical methods to the production side, where it will be used, the process will be used for 1 lakh unit or 2 lakh unit production. So whatever the process you define, whatever the batch manufacturing record you define, suppose for example, the blending time is 8 minutes. You have defined the blending time as 8 minutes in R&D. Probably it may not be the same when you are going for higher blender size or anything at the time of scale up. So the technology transfer department is a bridge between the R&D and the production. So it is very much, it should have interaction with both, actually.
Thanks, madam, for that question. Nicely answered by you.
So,
Thank you. Yeah. So I will propose a vote of thanks for today's session. So we are really privileged, Yogita madam, to have you as a speaker for this particular session. That is unveiling the pathways for research and career in analytical and regulatory affairs. So it was a very nice interaction, and even the participants were asking the questions, and I suppose they are satisfied with all the answer that you have given. At this moment, I would like to thank our trustee Shri B.L. Bulani ji and Professor Jhana Das Madam for their constant motivation to conduct such sessions in our college. And I sincerely express my gratitude to Principal Madam, who is a perfect guiding force and true leader for all of us. I am thankful to all the members of the organizing team, Dr. Anita Aire and Dr. Mushtaq Sheikh. And this program being online a session, it went smoothly because of the dedicated efforts of our ICT team members, Dr. Anand and Ms. Kajol. I'm also thankful to Palak for anchoring this session so nicely. And as we know, the success of any of the seminar depends upon the delegates who are participating. So I'm really thankful to the delegates who were very much attentive and they were posting the questions in the chat box. So I feel all of you, all the participants and many more future viewers for our VS College of Pharmacy sessions will gain satisfaction from Westcorp's humble attempt to serve the field of education and share and spread the knowledge to many more. So thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to Palak. Madam, wait for a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hilekar ma'am, for vote of thanks. There is one more question. I'll just read out that question. If possible, you can answer that question as well.
No problem.
Are skills and courses required to get into formulation R&D much different from analytical R&D?
Yes, very much. They're completely different because if you look at the equipments that should be used at R&D are different than what you use usually in the college level, and they are more sophisticated, and the data what you generate or the parameters are recorded. So what I feel is formulation development scientists should also go to industry when we are doing MPharm and try to do their MPharm project also in the industry. That will help them to get job easily, more easily, and there will be more industry academic interaction. That's what I feel.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Dear participants, we have few announcements for you all. Link for feedback form for today's session is put in the chat box. The link will also be mailed to you. We request you to give valuable feedback and constructive inputs. In the third week of July, on 16th, 18th, and 19th July, we are organizing a 3-day workshop come hands-on training on instruments or equipments used in advanced research. Here is an overview of the workshop. In this workshop, participants will gain hands-on training with critical tools and techniques integral to modern pharmaceutical research and development. By working with gel electrophoresis, you will enhance your practical understanding of DNA, RNA, and protein analysis, essential for genetic and molecular research. Training with the freeze dryer will equip you with skills in sample preservation and preparation, ensuring long-term stability of biological samples. Using the particle size analyzer, you will develop proficiency in determining particle size distribution, a key component in quality control and formulation processes in the pharmaceutical industry. Additionally, the workshops will cover advanced software used in drug discovery like MOE, providing you with the ability to utilize computational tools for molecular modeling, drug design, and data analysis, thereby accelerating the drug discovery process. This comprehensive training will not only bolster your technical expertise but also enhance your overall competency in pharmaceutical research and development. The link for registration to the workshop is posted in the chat box. The workshop will be conducted in offline mode at VES College of Pharmacy, Chembur. I request all the participants to kindly register for the same. Lastly, I want you all to please switch on your cameras. I will be taking a screenshot. I sincerely request to other participants to also switch on your cameras. Thank you, participants. You can switch off your cameras. Lastly, thank you to all the participants for your active participation and presence for day 2. We will be meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the same link for yet another insightful talk by Ms. Sunita Sunavne on research and career opportunities in the excipient industry. Thank you all and stay safe. We will now end the meeting.
Thank you, Palak.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Anita.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.